Hello, I'm Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com, using tarot to help you do the inner work, heal yourself and create the life that you truly want to live. This is today's tarot. It's for all signs and it's for Friday the 2nd of May 2025. Hope you're doing well. Two cards come out. Let's find out what they are. We're starting out with watch and listen carefully, so paying attention and time to restore. So this could be paying attention to what your body is telling you. Rest, rejuvenation. I know my body at the moment is telling me to stop and to be more gentle with myself and not train, and I just seem to, like this cold coming back, and it's like, don't get back into it, don't carry on in that way that you used to be, and all of that kind of stuff. So you might be getting clues like that, similar clues from your body. Watch and listen carefully, pay attention to the signs. It might be within your body, or it might be things not working for you, things not flowing so well. So do pay attention to the signs. Flow has come out, so it might just be that things not flowing right. Well, we don't need to struggle and push and try and force things beyond the flow, make things happen. That's not our place here. We are part of nature. We are a part of Gaia, the earth, and everything should be within the flow, flowing with that. We can trust in that. And so if you have been struggling to make something happen and it's not flowing, time to not do that anymore. The ocean, be beautiful, mysterious, wild and free. Being yourself, going with the flow. Where is life leading you now? Where is that flow leading you? It could be leading you away from things that you think you should be doing and into things that would be much better for you to do. Tarot, what have you got for us, please? One more. Well, we're starting out with the Knight of Swords. So from an idea, you might want to get moving on something. The Knight of Swords energy can be woman on a mission, man on a mission kind of an energy. It comes from an idea when we get the Knight of Swords, but it's like this forward movement. Even though it's swords, it's about thoughts. Knights are like one's energy, movement forward. We've got the Hermit. Okay, so very much internal stuff, retreating, time to restore, that kind of an energy. And then we've got the Knight of Cups, two knights. Interesting. So Knight of Cups is about romance. And romance doesn't have to be romantic relationships. Romance can be about our life, about the beauty of our life. When I imagine like a romantic life, meaning being in the flow and things working out, and it's more of a pottering around. That's my ideal life energy, is pottering around, and then what happens in that day happens. Having that freedom to do that to me is a romantic life. How about you? I try and live like that as best I can. I wasn't going to record videos today, but I felt like it. I didn't feel like doing anything else, and I felt like doing this, and so that is me being in the flow. I want to say I'm blessed. I am blessed to be able to live like this, but I manifested it this way. I'm just not willing to be locked into anything that has me in a rigid routine, so I can't live this way. It's important for me to live this way so I can follow that flow. How about you? With these energies, you might be being called to free yourself from those rigid structures now, so that don't allow you to have that romantic kind of a life way of freedom and being able to go with the flow. Knight of Swords, woman on a mission, two of voices, but you don't know. So this feels like you want there to be change, but you don't know what it is that you need to do to create that change. The Knight of Swords, you could have the ideas about it. Now, to create change, it's about letting go, first of all. When we want to manifest something, there's always something to let go of, right? And that's not the way that we think in our minds. We think, no, I've got to add, I've got to get something, and I've got to do something. But we need to let go of something in order to create that change. So if you don't know what it is that you want to do, there's lots of thinking here with the Knight of Swords and the Two of Voices. And then perhaps ask yourself a different question. What don't I want to do anymore? How would I really like to live? And what is the impediment to that freedom and that flow? They may be better questions to ask yourself. What's behind that is changes. There's a change. There is change in the air. And you're being asked to get clearer on what that is for you. What is your heart and your soul yearning for now? The ocean, be beautiful, mysterious, wild and free. We've got that flow card. It's got something to do with it being in the flow. It's a much better way of living, being in the flow, rather than being restricted to a certain routine. So the Hermit, this is pulling back within ourselves, resting, restoring. It could be that, like I said, it could be your body asking you to do this too. And the Hierophant are more spiritually led. See, the Hierophant is doing things by the book. Now, by the book, we've been living in a very masculine paradigm of just like do stuff all the time and just be constantly on. Whereas the Hermit and the Hierophant are doing things by the book. Well, the book might be changing now to a more balanced approach. What is that for you? Again, she's sat on a rock. Look how similar these cards are, hey? Both of them sitting on a rock and thinking, right? This is what we're being called to do now. Perhaps your book is different. Perhaps the rules need to change, for sure. What's behind that? And so you could be contemplating that. What rules would you like to live by? Self-love is behind that too. What would feel more loving to you, more romantic to you as well? Knight of Cups, romantic movement forward. And like I said, doesn't necessarily mean romantic relationships. I think this is more about a romantic life. So what does that mean for you, a romantic life? Because Knight of Voices, it's time to get moving on that. Get clear on that and get moving on it. Yeah, it's the romantic life. For some of you, this could be romantic relationships, but it just really doesn't feel like that to me at the moment. What's behind that is retreat. Yeah, it's about you. It's about retreating. So think about that. What is a romantic lifestyle to you? That flow kind of a lifestyle. And signs. Watch and listen carefully. It could be that the signs have been showing you to get more into that flow state. It's where we need to be with these current changes that are happening in the world. And that Hierophant is being spiritually led as well. It's like tackling life from within first, rather than without. Without is like, I'll set a goal and then I'll live my life like, toward that goal, making action steps toward that goal. That's very masculine paradigm. And the Hierophant is calling for us to go within first. What does my heart and soul want? And then to be led by that, to make changes based on that. Now, let's get into the masculine and feminine kind of energies and perhaps romance too. I've got the Page of Wands here. So Page of Wands is exciting news. Something that you hear that fires you up, that makes you passionate about something. The Five of Pentacles is feeling left out, feeling like you haven't got the key, you don't know the way forward, that there's some, perhaps not knowing how to get out of something that you know that you've got to leave behind, but how do I get out of that? And then the Five of Wands, which often comes out in this position, which is about reaching higher, reaching beyond the confines that we have currently experienced. Sometimes you just have to opt out. And that can be scary because you don't know how you're going to be able to survive or even live when you've opted out of the systems that aren't serving you. But you can, because I did. Page of Wands. So this is like exciting news. It could be like news, but it could be just hearing something that fires you up. I'll give you an example of this. This was years ago and I was on holiday. Already had this business. But I was on holiday with my partner. We were going out for dinner and there wasn't a table available for dinner, but they said, if you just go and sit in that area and would you like a cocktail first? There'll be a table available soon. So we did. We went and sat. And now there was these magazines on the table, or perhaps one magazine. And I picked it up and I had a look at it. Now, and in it was this concept of buying, it's like timeshare, but it wasn't. It was similar to that. I can't remember what they called it. But it was buying like an apartment or a room in a resort, and you owned that, but they would run it for you. You could stay in it as all the time if you wanted, or part of the time, and they would rent it out like a normal hotel room or resort room, and then you could stay at anyone else's rooms as well that were also within this scheme, and it really fired my imagination up. Like, it's that kind of thing, page of wands, you hear something that fires you up. Because I love resort living. I live in a resort now. I moved on beyond that because then I thought very quickly that this seems fantastic, but why not just pay and live in a resort, and then you can live in any resorts instead of the ones that are just within this scheme when the rooms are available. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I could just pay money instead, and then I could stay anywhere within a resort. So something that could fire you up like that, like a different option, a different way of being. The three of inspiration. There's an element of divine timing about this. So you could be hearing something, a piece of information that expands your mind to something else being possible within your life. Now, it's within this masculine, feminine paradigm section of my reading. And so it could have something to do with that, like something to get you more into a feminine place, way of living. Ascension is behind that too. So it's a better way for you, like it'll raise your vibration, a better life for you. Yeah, so be looking out for clues. Again, watch and listen carefully. Pay attention. There could be clues around today. So learning something or just hearing something that opens you up to possibilities. Five of Pentacles, but you're not knowing. There's this feeling of like, but I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to let go of what I'm currently in order to get there. Like the door's locked and I don't have the key is what the Five of Pentacles is saying, but the key's right there, you see? The key is right there. She just needs to get out of this, like, I can't do it kind of mindset that doesn't have her opening her eyes, looking around. See, she's not looking for the clue. She's not looking around. There must be a way to get out of here. She's despondent and she's feeling like there isn't a way to get out of here. And so she's believing that there isn't a way to get out of there. She doesn't even look to see if there's a key. Yeah, it's a despondency. 10 of emotions and awakening, but your heart is saying like you're happily ever after. It's calling you. It's calling you. You're happily ever after is calling you. And then she's like there going, yeah, but I don't have a key to get out of what I'm in. But the key's right there. You need to look around. And so be in that mindset of, this is lighting up for me because there is a way. We would never, ever be given an idea if there isn't a path to it. The universe just doesn't do that. It would never give us that idea if there wasn't a path to it. So as soon as you have an idea of a possibility, there is a path opens up to that possibility. It's the way of the universe. What's behind that is struggle. So you're in the struggle. You're on Struggle Street. That's that Five of Pentacles on Struggle Street. But I don't have the key. But there is no path to it. But I'm not even looking for the path to it because I don't even believe that there's a path to it. I don't believe that the key is there. I cannot get out of my current circumstances. Well, the Five of Wands reaches higher, reaches beyond those current circumstances, expects more, wants better. We're in very interesting times, you see. We're being asked here to think beyond the masculine paradigm that we've been in because it's falling away now. So we have to get in our mindset. We have to free ourselves from those constrictions, see it for what it is. It's like, oh, I'm still thinking within that masculine paradigm, thinking of a career or thinking, what can I do? Or, you know, instead of going, that paradigm's falling away, moving into more balanced times. I need to get more in my feminine to be more balanced in myself, and I can open up to the flow. Yeah. And just trusting that the world is changing right now, because it clearly is. Night of inspiration, and then there'll be inspiring movement forward. So reaching beyond it in your mind. Just believe it. I'm telling you, the world is changing right now. It is. And so, me personally, what this has been doing to me inside is like I've had certain goals, say business goals, and there's a part of me wants to carry on in that kind of a way, and then there's a part of me that trusts my guides, and they're saying like, you don't need to do that anymore, Claire. And yes, there's going to be this fuzzy in between where things don't kind of work very well. It's going to be difficult to get money because the old paradigm's falling away, new paradigm's starting. There's going to be difficulties, yes. But the answer isn't to carry on doing what we were doing. It's to get ourselves aligned with the way it's going to be. And we can't see how it's going to be, but we can trust in that and just make those micro shifts as it comes up for us. Make those micro shifts so that you can be ready. I mean, I find myself lucky, you know, because when I was 30, I'm 54 now, when I was 30, I gave up all of that stuff. I moved to Australia and I started this business. And a big part of that was me opting out of these systems, you know. And there was a lot of systems in Australia still as well that I kind of became a part of. And then it got on that treadmill a little bit again. It's like, this doesn't feel good. And I moved to Thailand. It's much freer here. Freer here. And with my business, I never wanted it to be that grind, that 9 to 5 thing that just doesn't suit me. I cannot do this work like that. I can't do it, you know. And I'm realizing even more too lately that readings, it takes a lot out of me. It affects my adrenals. I hadn't realized how much it affects my adrenals. I can't do that many readings. I can't do it like a 9 to 5 job. That's why my private readings are expensive. They have to be because I can't do that many. This kind of work, it's an energetic work. It's not possible to be a 9 to 5. No way. Just no way. I wouldn't be able to do it. Nobody can do it like that. So 501's Night of Inspiration. So you might feel inspired to get moving when you look at things from a different way and you're reaching beyond what has been before. Teaching and forgiveness is behind that. We live and we learn, right? From what it is that we've been doing and what doesn't suit us and what feels jarring to our very being. Okay, need to move these cards closer. Let's do it right now. Okay. What else have we got in the energies today, please, guys? I did feel like there was one more there. We've got a 4-leaf clover, great and good fortune. There's great things coming. Like the 4-leaf clover is a sign from nature of good luck. Nature, when we're living in alignment with nature, going with the flow and all of that kind of thing, we do get gifts from nature. I've told you the story about the papaya tree out the back a few years ago, didn't I? There's a really tall papaya tree out there, and I could see that the fruits were ripening. You know, papayas, they're like green, they're up near the top of the tree, and they're green, and then they turn yellow as they're ripening, and they were starting to turn yellow. And I looked up there, and it's like, that's a really tall tree. I thought, I wonder how the staff are going to get them down. There's a lot of fruit trees around here, and the staff, ground staff here, deal with it all. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I wonder how the staff are going to get those fruits down. Anyway, next day, literally the next day, I was puttering around here and I heard this almighty crash, and I go to, there's a window just behind you there, a balcony. The tree had fallen down, this really tall tree had fallen down toward my place, and the tree was the same height as the distance from my place, and it had dropped all the fruit and the branches and everything on right outside my door there. I didn't even need to leave my place. I could open the door and pick one of the fruits and eat it. And that just shows when you're connected with nature in that kind of way and you ask a question like that, it's going to deliver it right to you. 4-leaf clover is great and good fortune, and it comes from nature, and that's really something. That's really something. Living in cahoots with nature like that, our needs will be met. Not the needs in the Western world, the needs our actually need as human beings, you know, water, food, fruits. We've got a cobweb. We're protected from negative forces beyond your control. So you will be protected as well. If you think, like, I can't possibly do that because I need to stay in the system, because I need to protect myself and I need to make sure that I've got myself. So are you sure? Because the earth is actually a living being, not just nature, it is a living being. And I notice how I'm protected. over and over again, even in the I cannot manifest certain goals because my guides are like, she doesn't really want that. It's not where she's headed. That's just more of the masculine stuff. Let's not give it her. So you will be protected. We've got a teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. You could be getting together over a cup of tea. Vine, seek out information that will help you. That's that information thing, that news, page 1, something that you hear that will help you. It'll guide you the way. I mean, all of this reading is saying watch and listen carefully. You've got the signs around you. Do that investigative work and follow up on the signs and clues that you're getting. We've got a mule. Someone's extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. Don't be that person. Be willing to change. Well, how best to deal with these energies today? That was quick, wasn't it? 3 of Swords. Something's been breaking your heart, but you've been numbing yourself to it, trying not to feel it because you think that there's no way out. Well, you need to feel that now. What do you really just doesn't feel good in your life, but you've been thinking there's no other option. I've got to do it. I've got to be in this system or whatever it is and put up with this thing, even though it doesn't feel good. This is saying you've got to feel that heartbreak now and feel what isn't in alignment with you, and then choose otherwise and trust that the world is changing. And you'll end up in the paradigm that you want to be in as a result, because we do have this split. If you want to know more about that split, go on Amazon, put my name in, Claire Louise Hay, find the book Beyond Healing. No, Beyond 2012 and beyond. And it explains all about it in there. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to click like before you click off down there. Click that subscribe button if you're new. Leave me a comment as well. What is this bringing up for you? Do you feel your soul and your heart calling to you for these changes now? Have you felt like you cannot get out of the system of whatever is not sitting right with you at the moment? And can you feel the pull of your heart and soul saying, get out now, it's time to get out now? Let me know in the comments below. Sign up for my free class as well. You'll see a link to it there. Have the best day ever, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.